So, okay, so it starts with, like, their example, it was messy, and then it got clean. So, kirei ni narimashita.
The cards, the sensei and the student.
Which one are you up to?
Oh, I thought you were doing 5 people.
No, I was talking about like how you give us.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, let me get that out. Hold on a second. Okay, so, so you guys have each had the sensei one once so far, so let Jimena have it this time. Sensei. Okay, and so you guys have Hirakse. Okay, so that's just like a little reminder of who's playing what role.
Oh,
So, yeah, so that means that because you get to be sensei, that means you get to use casual speech the whole class. They're going to use casual speech when they're talking to each other, but formal speech when they're talking to you.
Okay.
Okay? So, okay, so the example was kirei ni narimashita. So who wants to start with ichiban?はい、どうぞ。
Not starting.
Oh, not starting.
Would it always be ni narimashita?
Good question.
It's ni when it's a
Yeah.
adjective. It's ku when it's an e adjective, and is it ni when it's a noun? Well, I mean that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, gakusei ni narimashita. So
Oh,
yes, it
okay.
can. Yeah, like he became a student. You know, like a little kid who was just playing at
Okay,
home,
so
and then
it's ni
gakusei
when
ni
it's a-
narimashita. So.
When I was reading, I was reading the thing, but do we do this in the negative too? Like it became, it didn't
Kirei
become.
ni narimasen deshita.
Oh,
It did not
narimasen.
get clean.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it
Kirei ni
just
narimasen deshita.
conjugated
Yeah.
the naru instead of the
Yeah.
or- okay.
Yeah. Kirei ni narimashita. Kirei ni naru. Kirei ni naranai. Yeah. I think kirei ni naranakatta. It didn't become clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you would use it in the negative. It became not clean.
mhm.
It would be easier to just say it became dirty.
Oh, okay.
Kitanaku narimashita. Kitanai is dirty,
Dirty.
so kitanaku narimashita would be it became dirty.
Okay.
Yeah, that would I don't think you would use a negative before to say it became not something. That sounds weird.
Okay.
Okay, so does that answer all the questions about it?
Mhm. I just
Okay.
wanted to, I wasn't, because that's what it said. Can you say something about the
Yeah, so adjectives.
us in their negative
Funaru,
conjugating cells
ninaru,
and-
ninaru. Yeah.
I was kind of confused on that, but okay.
So in. Okay, I'm atatakai minaru. Okay. Okay, and then they were talking about absolute versus relative changes. So, like, atakakaku naru, become warm. Do they mean like it's not cold anymore, or it's just warmer than it was?
Right.
You know, because atatakaku narimashita could be, well, yesterday it was, 50 below, and now it's warmer than that, but it's still cold. Or it could be yesterday it was in the 40s and today it's in the 80s. So that they talk about using mae yori blank ni narimashita to say that something's become more something than before, but maybe not absolutely. So like, Miyari-san wa mae yori nihongo ga jouzu ni narimashita. She's become better at Japanese than before. You're not necessarily saying that she's native speaker level fluent.
Right. So she's just better.
But she's better, right?
Okay.
So, atatakaku narimashita. If you use mae yori atatakaku narimashita, it's become warmer than it was, but not necessarily hot. Versus
When we use
Yeah.
atsui instead of hatataku, we were saying that it was cold and it was really hot.
Yeah, 暑くなりました would be possible.
Okay.
Yeah, if it got really warm. Yeah, depending on,
The context.
yeah.
Yeah.
暑くなりました it became hot versus 暖かくなりました it became warm. So you could use it, whichever one seems more appropriate for, you know,
Okay.
what you think about that temperature.
じゃあ、
じゃあ、どうぞ。
眠くなりました。
はい。じゃあ、2番。
元気になりました。
はい。
大きくになる。
大きく
大きく
なりました。大きくなりました。Because it's a ku, not a ni, right? Because it's
Yes.
an e adjective. But also, since you're doing short forms today, you're doing casual. So what would the casual be for 大きくなりました？
大きくになる。
大きくなった。な
おな
った
したました。
なりましたなった
Okay.
大きくなった
大きくなった。
はい4番
今になりました。
No, 4番 we're still young
My bad. 髪が短くなりました。
はい髪が短くなりました She got it cut
暇
Okay
になりました。
はい暇になりましたはい
熱くなった。
はい熱くなった
熱くなった。
はい7番
涼しくなりました。
はい涼しくなりました
一緒になりました。
はい9番
春になった。
はい9番
お金持ちになりました。
はいお金持ちになりましたいいですか
It's so funny. She's like, I have no.
She has like little patches in her forehead.
Yeah.
Some funny like detail.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, they're trying to, I think, even though they do the directions and the grammar explanations in English, they're trying to make this book accessible to people who don't speak a lot of English. I think that's one reason they use a lot of pictures. It also helps you to get out of your English-speaking head and into Japanese mode better. But also, I think they were trying to make this as international as possible.
Yeah, because my friend in Peru,
Mm-hmm.
she uses the same book,
Yeah.
Genki, for well, I don't know if it's in Spanish. I must be in Spanish or in English. I don't know, but she
Yeah.
uses the same.
I don't know if they publish any other version than
Do
this
you
one.
know if
Okay, then maybe it's the same.
Do you know if like other colleges and universities use this book?
It's very popular, yeah. It's one of the top 3 probably Japanese
Would they
texts.
use this book at like some place like UF or FS
I don't-
or something?
I don't know that UF necessarily uses this
I
one.
know UCF does because I talked to a student there.
Okay.
He said that they
It depends on which college you go to. This is one of the major ones. Yokoso and Nakama are probably the other 2 biggest ones in the US market at least.
Okay.
So it's probably one of those 3, but I can't tell you which one. I don't remember offhand which one UF uses. I'm pretty sure FSU uses something else.
FSU. Yeah, 'cause
Yes,
they
yes.
have the Japanese
What about
one.
UF?
UF, I don't know. They might use Yokoso. They might not use this one. They might use Nakama. I'm not really sure.
But they're all pretty much the same, right?
Well, the format of Yokoso and Nakama is somewhat different. I don't know how the content compares.
I like this one because I like the pictures.
I do
Yeah.
too.
And it
They
makes
put
it.
so much detail.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
like that. That way you can actually tell, even though you don't understand the
so
kanji,
funny,
too.
you
Yeah.
can understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
I think I've got a copy of Nakama somewhere if you guys want to look at it just to
I
see
like
how
to
the
look at
format
it, yeah.
differs. I don't think I have a copy of Yokoso.
because when I go to like the bookstore and have the language section and they have a bunch of like learn Japanese, there's a bunch of just like writing and a lot of kanji and a lot of letters. I'm just like, it's not as good as having a picture.
Yeah.
I'm more of a visual person too.
Yeah. Well, and this has the companion website, which has some helpful stuff. And if the links aren't broken, they've got videos of the kaiwa and stuff. And they've got some extra online exercises. And if you haven't found them yet, there are apps now, too. They've got smartphone apps that correspond to this content.
They're on
Are they only for Apple? Oh, sorry.
And they're paid for too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I download them and I don't think they're really that good.
Oh,
Oh, because you
okay.
have an iPad. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh well, disappointing, but anyway, じゃあパート B やりましょ
Okay. 掃除をしたが部屋がおよびきれいになりました。
う。はい、そうですね。じゃあ2番どうぞ。
病院床屋に行ったから髪が短くなりました。
はい、そうです
What
ね
does 床屋 mean?
Tokuya is a barber shop, and Byoin is a beauty salon.
Yeah.
So depending on which you mean,
Yeah.
you probably don't go to a Tokuya,
No.
but Ryan might.
美容院 right? Not 美容
Yeah, it's Byoin. Byoin.
I said 美容
Yeah, be careful because Byoin and
It's-
Byoin are very different
That's
places.
when I read it, I was like, Byoin? I was like, that's hospital, but that doesn't look like the kanji for hospital.
No.
That's like the
Well,
me.
look at the kanji.
Yeah,
The
B
B is beauty.
Yeah.
And then this yo is also the kanji that's in like makeup and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And then in for institution.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like Byoin. No, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah, byoin.
Byoin.
Yeah, and the byo in byoin, that kanji means illness.
Yeah.
So an illness institution versus a beauty and makeup institution.
Yeah. Okay.
はい。
Your turn.
子供の時野菜が嫌いでしたが今低くなりました。
Okay.
背が低くなった。
Okay. Kodomo no toki, when you were a child,
Yeah.
yasai means what?
Vegetables.
Yeah, yasai ga kirai deshita. You hated vegetables. But ga is like a contrast.
Yeah.
However, ima, now, blank ni narimashita. So you used to hate veggies when you were a kid, but as a grown-up now,
Hate them
you no.
I was thinking that too. I didn't know how to.
Can you guess what they're intending it to be?
I like that. I like it.
What they're
気に
assuming
なりました。
suki ni narimashita is what they're going for there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I could say 大嫌いになりました。
Well, it doesn't work that well with the contrast thing because the ga is supposed to be a contrast. So,
Just like them, but not to me.
But now it's like crow with the die.
yeah, but it doesn't work as well. They're going for a different kind of contrast there, and
Okay.
culturally speaking, it is considered childish to be a picky eater
Really?
in Japanese culture. Yeah. So you got to watch out for that. There's a certain amount of leeway for gaijin that, you don't like this particular thing that's very Japanese. Okay, they can get that. But you don't like vegetables in general. They're like, how old are you?
That's
5?
not wrong. That's not wrong. She's like, you're old already. You have to eat everything. I'm like, why do you like peas?
Okay, yeah. I think most people have something they don't like. But I found that there was a little bit of a double standard.
Yeah.
That, like, my Japanese host dad didn't like carrots. And he didn't see anything wrong with him not liking carrots and was amazed that I liked carrots. But yet he gave me a hard time about not liking bell peppers and cilantro. And I'm like, hello, double standard here. But,
I don't.
to him, well, who likes carrots? Nobody likes carrots, was his attitude, because I think carrots were one of the few vegetables that were cheap and easy to get during World War II. And he grew up during that time period, and, so it was one of those where, probably carrot overload, he just ate too many of them as a kid. He associated them with poverty and hunger and eating it because it was the only food they had.
Yeah. I like
And so,
vegetables, but I don't like cooked
Yeah.
vegetables. Like,
yeah, I don't mind carrots.
But-
Japanese carrots are a little different from
Totally
American
different, okay.
carrots. They're thicker,
Oh, I like
and the
lemons.
flavor of them is a little bit different.
oh.
But they're not bad. And I didn't particularly like them raw, but you cut them up and cook them in like a stir fry or something, they taste just as good as Western carrots to me.
It's like me, like I like bell peppers, but I don't like them cooked, so I won't eat them cooked.
Oh,
I
okay.
like them in salads or like tomatoes. I don't like
Yeah.
cooked tomatoes. I like them raw.
Yeah, and I'm just the reverse. I can't
Yeah.
do raw tomatoes very much, but I
like
can do
tomatoes,
cooked
I like
ones.
tomato parts.
Like
Yeah.
carrots, I don't like them like if they're cooked, or I can like
Yeah.
them if they're raw too. Like in salads, I
Yeah.
like that type of.
Right, but yeah, culturally speaking, I've encountered a lot of Japanese people who are very resistant to the idea of somebody who's a grown-up being a picky eater, and yet that's not to say that they don't have their own pickiness, but there's that cultural bias, that's ethnocentrism, that, well, what I don't like is normal to not like. But what you don't like, that's weird. How can you not like that? So, there was definitely some of that with some of my host families where, especially the ones who had never really traveled internationally, they'd never really been exposed to other cultures before they met me, they really didn't get the concept of, well, you're from a different culture, so of course there are going to be differences. You come from a different country, you come from a different culture, you're going to have different likes and dislikes, and you're going to have different customs and different things that you're used to or not used to, and different habits. Even something as simple as the way I blew my nose, they thought was weird, because apparently in Japan, holding your tissue with only one hand to blow your nose is like a child thing, because when a little kid needs to blow their nose, the mom holds the tissue for them like this. But when you're a grown-up, you're supposed to hold it like this with two hands, and I never got that habit. I always hold it with one hand, and they thought that was the most hilarious thing in the planet, that I held my tissue like a little kid. And I'm like, what's the big deal? I get my nose taken care of the same as anybody else, and they thought it was weird. And then when I was in Korea, they don't blow their noses.
They just sneeze.
Yeah, they sneeze if they need to sneeze. They'll wipe their nose if they need to wipe it. But if they're just congested, they just sniffle until it clears up. And
That's what I do, because I don't know how to blow my nose.
well, you know what?
It just feels weird.
There's been some research that you actually get less sinus infections if you don't blow your nose, because apparently the force of trying to force it out when it's not trying to come out can actually impact it more into your sinuses and your eustachian tubes and stuff,
All I
and
do
cause
is
ear
I just
and
take allergy
sinus
meds
infections.
And go to sleep. And
Yeah.
hope I'm not, sniffling.
I always like
Yeah.
I have a tissue because my nose is really
Yeah.
so I just
Yeah.
But sometimes I
So-
can't breathe in them.
Yeah, but so different cultures have different ways of dealing with stuff like that, and so I found it very frustrating at times with a host family that was very intolerant and closed-minded about some stuff. But then I had other Japanese friends who were very open-minded and had been exposed to a lot of different cultures and didn't have a problem with me doing something differently. And they, probably the reason I never knew about the nose-blowing thing being weird until all those years later was because the families I'd been with previously were open-minded enough that it never occurred to them to question that I did something differently from them, because they're, oh, she's American, so that's the way the Americans must do it, But, some of my host families were that close-minded about
You
stuff.
have multiple host
Yeah.
families?
Yeah, I did a summer program in high school. During my academic year at the college, well, I did the summer program in the before the college academic year, so that was a second host family. Then during the academic year at the college, they matched us with somebody in the local vicinity for us to have a connection with and go visit occasionally on weekends. So I had that weekend host family locally. And then I did a spring break 2-week program in another part of Japan. So I had that host family. And then the year I was teaching English in Japan, they couldn't find me my own apartment at first in the program. So they actually got one of the administrators from the school department, from the education department locally. They kind of talked him and his wife into being a host family for me, which was not ideal because they didn't really want to do it. And so, it was kind of a friction at first until they got used to me being there. And then finally in April, an apartment became available, and then I moved and got my own place for the remainder of the year. But I spent like the first 7 months. And before they found who I was going to stay with permanently, they actually had me moving around. For the first month or so that I was there, they had me with, 1 week here, 1 week there, 1 week there, 4 different families, because they couldn't find somebody who was willing to take me on permanently for the whole year. And they, it took a while, but they finally convinced this one family.
Why weren't there any apartments? Like, were they paying for the apartments for you?
They were going to pay for an apartment for me, but there wasn't anything vacant. And Japanese leases always come up for renewal in April. So since I was the first one to come into that town on that teaching program, they didn't have something that was already available from a previous year's foreign teacher.
I get it.
So there was nothing open until I got there. And then I was like the placeholder. I kept it from April until the end of my contract. And then the new girl who came in, the new teacher who came in to take my place as the next foreign teacher, she basically just stayed in a hotel or in a host family for a night or two while I was moving out. And then she came in because we overlapped by like 2 days or something.
I have a question. This is kind of off topic, but like, why do teachers like come and go, like often, like foreign language teachers, like?
Well, they usually do a 1 or 2 year contract at a time because they don't want you to commit to staying for a long time if you're not going to want to, and they don't want you to sign a contract and then break it and leave them high and dry because they weren't prepared to look for somebody else. They want to know ahead of time, okay, are you renewing your contract and going to stay another year, or are you going to leave at the end of this school year, in which case we need to go find somebody else to take your place.
So they let you renew the contract.
Yeah, they offered me. They asked if I wanted to renew for another year, but I was ready to come back to the States and actually go to grad school is what I was looking into at that point. I was feeling like I've done a lot in Japan. I've learned a lot. I'm forgetting my Chinese. And so I wanted to go to grad school partly to resurrect my Chinese abilities because I had been away from it during that whole time that I was so immersed in Japanese culture. And there were a few Chinese speakers who were visiting the town at one point, and I heard them speaking Chinese. I was like, I miss it, and that's what kind of got me started thinking. Plus, it was kind of a rocky year being the first teacher to do that program in a town that had never had it before. So I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready to just move on. By the end of that academic year, I felt like I'd learned enough that I was ready to like take over and be an independent teacher of my own classroom, and they weren't going to let me do that. The position was assistant English teacher, and they weren't going to give me my own class and let me be independent. And I didn't want to stay on those terms. Yeah, so, but I think after that, it was a 2-year contract from the beginning for every subsequent teacher. They wanted it to be 2 years at a time. But she came in, the woman who came after me, she came in knowing it was going to be a 2-year contract and having her own apartment from the start. Yeah. So she didn't have all of that
moving around.
around and staying with host families that weren't so sure they wanted her and stuff like that. That part took an emotional toll. You know, it's hard enough living with a host family when they're welcoming you with open arms, but a host family that doesn't really want you there and you're kind of aware of the fact that they're not thrilled with it, that's really uncomfortable. Yeah. Okay, so moving on.
It's my turn.
はい。
毎日ピアノを練習しているから上手になりました。
はい、そうですね。
お酒をたくさん飲んで頭が
あ、that's 顔。
顔が赤くなりました。
はい。And how would you change that to short form since you're supposed to be sensei?
顔が赤くなった。
はい、顔が赤くなった。Yeah, and that's a fairly typical Japanese characteristic. Not everybody turns red when they drink too much, but for some reason East Asians have a tendency, like not everybody has that gene or whatever, but a lot of Japanese people have that gene where they turn bright red when they drink too much.
It's like when in anime, if someone's strong and they have like
Yeah.
blood red, so yeah.
Yeah, you see it in anime all the time because it's sort of a typical Japanese characteristic that not every Japanese person has it, but enough people have it that it's sort of a cultural expectation that, you know, if you don't turn bright red, they'll say things like, wow, you don't look drunk, you know. Right.
11月は暖かかったですが、この頃涼しくなりました。
そうですね。はい。じゃあ
教
何番？
えるの好きだ。
教えるのが、
教えるのが好きだから先生になるつもりです。
はい、いいですね。See how they combine several points there?
I plan to become a teacher.
Yes. 教えるのが好きだから。
Because I like teaching.
Yeah, teaching is something that I like to do, right? 教えるのが好きだから。I like to teach, therefore, 先生になるつもり。I intend to become or plan to become. Teach. 何ですか? Okay. Okay, so this is the どこかに、どこにも phrasing. That's next. Okay. Any questions first about how that stuff works?
When you want to say no, where you say doko ni mo, right? It doesn't go.
Okay. So, どこかに行きましたか is like, did you go somewhere, right? どこにも行きませんでした is, no, I didn't go anywhere. どこかに行きました would be, I went somewhere, but you're not specifying where. So you can use the same structure that's in the question and just repeat it back in the answer. どこかに行きました would be, yeah, I went somewhere, but you're not saying where. If you wanted to replace the どこか with a place name, はい、東京に行きました. Yes, I went to Tokyo, if you want to tell the information. But it's one of those things where if you feel like it's too private and you don't want to share, you can just say, はい、どこかに行きました. Yeah, I went somewhere. You know?
Oh, okay.
You know, so like if you're going around the room finding out where people went for their vacations or something, どこかに行きましたか? If you don't want to say where you went, but you did go somewhere on your break, はい、どこかに行きました. Okay, and then if you want to say no, you didn't go anywhere, どこにも行きませんでした.
So anywhere, nowhere is the same. Doko ni mo.
Okay, so the difference is the ka versus the mo, right? どこかに is like somewhere. どこかに行きましたか? Did you go somewhere? Yes, I went somewhere. どこかに行きました. No, I didn't go anywhere is the どこにも行きませんでした. So the ni mo gets used with the negative.
Okay.
どこにも行きませんでした. And that holds for other kinds of question words
Yeah.
also. So 何かしましたか? Did you do something? はい、何かしました. Or いいえ、何もしませんでした. So the ka is like a something or somewhere or someone, and the mo with the negative is like nothing, not anywhere, not anyone, not any place, whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
let's see. Who do I okay. 昨日、メアリーさんは何か飲みましたか?
Okay, so we're doing ichiban. Okay. Oh, and since you're sensei, how would you translate that into casual?
昨日、メアリーさんは何か飲まかった?
飲んだ.
Oh, no, makata means didn't drink, right?
Right.
Okay, 飲んだ.
何か飲んだ. はい.
お茶とコーヒーを飲みました。
はい。そうですね. And notice when it's a yes, usually you put the hai in there. はい。お茶とコーヒーを飲みました.
OK。
いいですね。じゃあ、2番どうぞ.
昨日、たけしさんは何か飲みました。何か飲んだ。
はい。そうですね。Because you're asking 学生.
Yeah. Or, right? Or,
うん
yeah, たかしさんは何も right?
いや、何も。
何も飲まなかった。
はい、そうね。何も飲まなかった。寂しいね。Look, he's got a little tear.
昨日、メリーさんはどこかに行きましたか?
はい。Or, what do you use?
You can use
大阪に行った。
はい、大阪に行った。
大阪に行った。
Be careful with your because you're getting a little bit of a wiggle in the tone, which makes it sound like a no almost. So you want it to just be a falling tone. There you go. See, you got that wiggle again. You heard it, right? You heard it that time.
大阪に行った。
大阪に行った. So you have to sound very confident when you're doing the yes. Yeah. And yeah, it is kind of like a grunt, which yeah, not you don't have to go that low, but that's probably its origin. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, if you go back 400 or 500 years, you talk about like samurai era,
I was thinking like a club, like
No, but
yeah,
I don't know how far back some of these modern style words go. I don't know how modern and are, or if they're old. But if you go back to like samurai dramas, if you've ever watched any of the samurai dramas in Japanese, you hear a lot of iko. A lot of like short, succinct stuff because, again, casual formal. If a samurai is talking to somebody of lower status, then he's going to use that casual structure, that casual speech, even while the person talking to him is using all kinds of elaborate formal language. And then that same samurai, when he goes and has to meet with his daimyo, all of a sudden it's like he's flipped a switch and he's using all this flowery formal speech to talk to his daimyo, and the daimyo is the one using iku. Yeah.
Okay, which one?
Yeah.
Okay.
どうぞ。
昨日、たけしさんはどこに行った?
どこにも行きませんでした。
はい。そう ね。
特に行きませんでした。
Yeah, so, 昨日、たけしさんはどこかに行きましたか Right? Did you say the か
I didn't? I don't think
I
did.
didn't hear it.
Yeah. 昨日、たけしさんはどこかに行った行った
No, in this case it would be いいえ。
いいえ。どこにも行きませんでした。
There you go. Since she's the sensei, you're answering her formally. Okay, どうぞ. See, it's just good practice,
Yeah.
right? Doing the gakusei sensei thing. Because otherwise, when do you get to practice it enough?
Yeah.
Right?
昨日、メリーさんは誰かに会いました。会った。
誰かに会ったはい
誰かに会った。
メリーさんは、or can I just say, ロバートさんに会った。
はい、そうね。うん、ロバートさんに会った。
昨日、たけしさんは誰かに会いました。会いました。
か、
誰にも
this time you're saying no, so it would be, there you go.
誰にも会わなかった
There you go. 会わなかった。誰にも会わなかった。誰にも会わなかった。
誰にも会わなかった。
はい、いいね。
昨日、メリーさんは何かしたかorした
いや、何かした
はい。映画を見ました。
はい、そうですね。じゃあ、8番どうぞ。
昨日、たかしさんは何かした
何かした
何もしなかった。
はい、いいね。何もしなかった。So, いいですね。So having the sensei rotate gives everybody a chance to practice this. You're a little bit rustier because these two have practiced it a little bit already.
Okay.
So, yeah, if we keep doing this the rest of the semester, you'll get more comfortable with it. Yeah, but next semester you're not able to join us, huh?
No, probably until the summer.
I
Okay.
already signed up for Japanese 3.
Yeah, I saw. That's great. And I think the...
And I paid for it too.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think the Japanese 4 course just hasn't been posted yet. I think she was working on getting it created before she left for her vacation, but now she's gone. So when she gets back, she'll get it posted.
So the 3 is a regular class or
No, the 3 is going to be independent study again. There's not enough enrollment.
It's going to be me.
Yeah, it's going to be, as far as I know, only one person, unless some other people who finished level 2 come out of the woodwork and want to join.
So you'll probably have it in the summer, like a regular class.
If we get enough people from my level 2s in the spring, cross fingers, we might have enough for a full level 3 class to make over the summer. That would be nice if it does.
If not, would you have it in the fall?
Most likely.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I could take a like
Okay.
a regular class transit.
Okay.
I'm going to be graduated by the summer, so I want to take it in the spring because I want to continue with Japanese. Because I
Yeah.
want to continue it with the university as well.
Right, yeah. So were you going to try to come take 4 in the summer if it's available, or were you just going to take the summer off because you're headed to university in the fall?
Would I be able to take it during the summer as like a transit student?
Yeah, I mean, even if you've graduated from here and you're headed to UF or wherever else in the fall, if you wanted to be here as a transient student in the summertime, you can still take the course.
No one would take it with me though.
Yeah, well, the question will be if we've got anyone else
What about
to
that?
do it.
What about that kid? Zach? Didn't he want to do it?
Busy? Yeah.
No, the
Oh, yeah, he wanted to take
Asian kid.
the one with the hat.
You don't even know him.
I think I've seen him.
Okay. Well, he would have taken 3 this fall if he could have, but he would need 3. I don't know if he's going to come back for 3
I don't
in the
mind
spring.
catching up with the people in 4.
Okay. So we'll see what happens.
But I do want like to take 3.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens over the summer, because one possibility that I was considering was doing the 6-week terms so that we could actually offer 3 in the first half of the summer and 4 in the second half of the summer. And if we've got enough people who want it that way, we could conceivably get enough people carrying over from 3 into 4 to have an actual 4.
You don't offer classes online, do you?
Not usually. Not so far, anyway. But if, I don't know how you guys would feel about doing a 3 and a 4 back-to-back in the summer. It's pretty intense doing it like that.
I probably wouldn't be able to, because would we go to class every single day?
It would be 4 days a week,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wouldn't be able to, because I live all the way in Titusville.
Oh, okay. So it would be too much for you to commute that often, yeah.
And you're working,
Yeah, and you work
So
so much, so, oh well.
so.
It was a thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do it. It's just
Yeah, I
that
would too.
I can't.
Yeah, you can't afford to take that much time off work to,
Well, the thing is that I'll be taking online classes
okay,
because of my job now, so
right,
I don't know. I'll have to think.
yeah.
How
Well, and that's the other thing, once it's online, you can look around for what else is even out of town. If it's gonna be fully online, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And eventually, I'm looking at teaching at Valencia College in Orlando, part-time too. And eventually, we would probably develop the 3 and 4 to
Have
be
you thought
online
about
courses.
doing, like hybrid courses?
I've thought about it. It would take a lot of work to develop it. I haven't
Oh,
gotten there
okay.
yet,
I
you
get
know.
it.
I think that Valencia wants me to develop the level 3 and 4 to be online, because they get so many students who, by the time they're ready for level 3, they've already moved on to UCF or somewhere else, but they might prefer, especially if they can't get into the level 3 class at the other school, they might prefer to have it with the teacher they already know from their community college, but, you know, they can't commute, so they would want it online.
Yeah,
Because, you know, if you're at UCF, yeah, you could probably commute to Valencia. But if you're not at UCF, if you're at UF or U of M or anywhere out of state, you can't commute, but maybe you still want to take the course with your old teacher that you know, as opposed to a new teacher in a new setting.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, because from now on, I think my classes will have to be online unless I really need to come to a
Yeah.
campus. Because of my schedule, like
Yeah.
I work pretty much every day, and I can't take off mornings or I can't take evenings anymore. So
Right.
I was like, oh, hopefully you'll have it ready. Even at
Yeah.
Valencia, I could take it.
Yeah, it might not be right away. It might
No,
take a
not
little
right away.
while to get to that point where I've got those courses developed, but
Yeah.
that's a possibility
Because it's
for
an
the
elective
future.
anyway, so I still have to get my required classes, so I
Right.
can do that, and then at the very end, I
Yeah.
can just go back.
And the other thing,
It's more expensive too, because it's 4 credits.
What's the same price then? For Valencia? Yeah.
this is, yeah, this is technically 4 credits. It's just that your 4th credit hour is lab hours instead of classroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with you guys, I figure since it's independent study, and you spend lots of time in the lab anyway, I'm not worrying about keeping track of your lab hours, because I
Yeah,
know
I
you
already
guys just
finished
go and
it.
study
We
together.
finished it like
Yeah.
within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I finished it like last month, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I couldn't go every Tuesday or Thursday, so
Yeah.
but I got them on 16, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, you're not the ones I'm worried about with the lab hours. It's some of the level 1 people who just don't study enough, period, there or anywhere else,
Yeah.
you know.
It's tough.
Yeah, but yeah, I think about offering online and hybrid sometimes. I don't know how I would do with the conversational stuff for online classes, but it would be good from the perspective of being able to be home with my kids during the time when they're not in school, and being able to teach just during the time when they're actually in school, because my son's going to be starting kindergarten next year.
Oh.
Like,
And,
a good thing
you
would
know,
be, like,
after school
Skyping.
programs cost a lot extra. extra.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily want to have to put him in all the after-school stuff. If he can just go the regular school day, and then I pick him up at 3 or whatever, that's gonna save us some money.
Because like for the OPIs, I mean, you can Skype.
Yeah, we could do Skype for OPIs, but would we be able to get enough people to agree on a time to actually Skype for class?
Well, I think it would be like a requirement though, because you need the OPI for a class, so you have to make a time for it.
But I mean, OPIs I can schedule, just 2 people at a time at lots of different times. But for class time practice, this kind of practice where we're taking turns speaking, I would want some Skype with the whole class and me all at the same time.
It's really hard to do.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's really hard to take it.
Unless we like schedule ahead of time, like at the very beginning,
Yeah.
say every like second Friday or every
Yeah.
other Friday would have to be like
A Skype
you have
time
to,
that you have to sign in and be on Skype with the whole class for
Yeah.
that. And we could have it where like you're allowed to miss a certain percentage of them, but if you miss more than that, you're not going to pass the course,
So it
something
should
like
be a
that.
requirement. That
So
you have to
I would have to work out how I'm gonna do it and make it in the syllabus so that nobody can say, but I didn't know.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
at least
And
you
I
can
would,
miss 2 of them, but you can miss anything.
yeah, something like that. We would have to figure out some way, and then maybe have people submit recordings of themselves and a partner, and you could just pick anybody from the class that you wanted to work with, but have to submit recordings of yourselves doing the exercises where you're asking each other and answering each other.
Right.
どこかに行きましたか? いえ、どこにも行きませんでした. Where you're actually doing it
Because
orally on a recording that you email into me or
or
something.
like put it on YouTube and you're like, here's
Yeah.
a record.
Yeah, we'd have to do something
Yeah.
because you can't do a language class without speaking.
Exactly. It's tough.
Yeah.
But like I said.
I mean, this isn't Latin. You have to actually speak it.
Yeah.
You
That's-
know.
I took Latin in high school.
Yeah, and Latin you can get away with. Okay, do your written homework, do your reading homework, you're done. But
It's tough.
who picks Japanese only wanting to read and write it and not speak it to people?
Yeah.
Seriously. Most of the people who pick it, they want to be able to watch anime. They want to be able to talk to people in Japan when they get there. This is not just, a research-oriented class. No, people aren't taking Japanese as an undergrad because they just want to read classical Japanese text and do research in Japanese. That's rare to find somebody who that's all they want to do with Japanese is research. Mostly they want to speak it
I don't understand. Yeah, speak it and be able to understand.
and be able to understand it well enough to watch their favorite anime in the original and not depend on the fan subs. Because some of those fan subs are atrocious.
Yeah, that's true. So it's,
Even some of the professional subs are not great, depending on what you're watching.
yeah.
The Studio Ghibli ones are pretty good, but some of the others, So, anyway. Okay, so we finished A, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go on to the next segment. Okay, so, はい、どうぞ。
先週の週末どこかに行きましたか？どこかに行った？
先週の週末どこにも行かなかった
はい、行かなかった。So, いいえ or どこにも行かなかった. And notice that you don't have to repeat back the time phrase if you don't want to. You can,
Okay.
but it's not necessary because it's already understood when you're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
So sometimes when you do repeat it back like that, it sort of puts an emphasis on, no, that particular weekend that you're talking about, no, I didn't go anywhere. Like maybe you normally do, but that particular time you didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
先週の週末、誰かに会いましたか？
うん。誰かに会った。
はい。いいね。じゃあ3番。
昨日何か。
That's 今日。
今日何か食べ今日何か食べた？
はい。
はい。サンドイッチを食べました。
はい、いいですね。はい。Notice the kanji for 今日. You see what they are? Ima, nichi. Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And by the way, konnichi is another reading for that combination. Konnichiwa is written with those same two kanji.
Oh.
今日何か飲みました何か飲んだ
お茶を飲んだ。
Yeah, so you would use お茶を飲んだ。
お茶を飲んだ。
はい。いいね。どうぞ。
今週の週末、どこかに行きますか？
うん。映画を見に行く？
はい。映画を見に行く。いいね。
今週の週末何かするつもりですつもり
何かするつもり Yeah, you can just leave out the ですか if you're doing casual.
今週の週末何かするつもり
はい。友達に会うつもり
はい。
です。
はい。友達に会うつもりです。はい。いいですね。質問がありますか
The つもり, you always use the short form?
Yes. 行くつもり Yeah, するつもり short, yeah, dictionary form するつもり、You can use the negative しないつもりです I plan to not do it Yeah
Well, they say I plan not to I don't plan to do this.
Right, yeah, usually in Japanese they use the negative plus つもり They don't conjugate the つもりです part So like 今週学校に来ないつもりです So-and-so is not planning to come to college or to school today. He's planning to not come to college, to school or whatever. Yeah, or ターキーを食べないつもりです I plan to not eat turkey. You know.
I'm gonna eat turkey.
Me too. But that's just an example.
I saw it.
本当? You already had some?
Well, my mom, she gets sick and she was afraid, like...
She was afraid she was going to get sick and not be able to do it, so you did it early?
She gets migraines frequently.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah,
Those
so
are horrible.
she just decided to, like, cook her turkey on Monday, and so, like, we just have, like, leftovers the whole week.
Okay, that's a cool way to do it. That takes the pressure off. You know, that way, you know, she did it on Monday, but if she hadn't been able to do it on Monday because she wasn't feeling well, she could have done it Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. And that way you've still got Thanksgiving food, even if you're not doing it that day.
Just better.
Yeah, that's
I
much
think.
better. Yeah.
And, like, we don't
Yeah,
really
my
have,
family always did
we
that
don't
too.
have, like, relatives come over, because, like,
Yeah.
I'm from, like, New York.
Oh, okay, so
So
you don't
it's
have any
just-
family coming, it's just you
So
guys.
it's just my mom and dad and I.
Yeah,
So we
so you don't have to make a big deal out of it, yeah. My family used to do that all the time. When my dad had to travel during the holidays,
Yeah.
we would just postpone our holiday till he got back from his business trip and celebrate with him that way, instead of, you know, him missing out on Hanukkah because he had to travel because it was a month before Christmas that year or something. We would just celebrate when he was there, and if his business trip took him away in the middle of a holiday, you know, we might have the first 3 nights of Hanukkah before he left, and then put it on hiatus, and then celebrate the rest when he got back in town.
It's like 2 weeks to, not this weekend, but the weekend before this one, I have a family who lives down in West Palm Beach, so they were going to come up that weekend because she was on vacation, so we had like a Thanksgiving dinner with her
Yeah,
and my cousin.
that's neat.
So because that way she's going to spend the actual Thanksgiving with her daughter
Yeah,
her husband and
yeah. You don't have to stay tied to this is the day that everybody else is celebrating, so that's the only day you can celebrate. I like being creative with stuff like that. Celebrate it when you want to, when
Yeah.
it works for your family.
So we're gonna have the
No.
regular at my house with my mom only, and so.
Yeah.
But we already spent like all of us, like have a big family, so all of us got together that
Yeah.
weekend and we spent it with her, and now
That's cool.
we can just spend it at each house.
Yeah, now you can relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Although
Okay.
I don't cook, but
Yeah.
I just eat.
Not fair.
Okay, so.
Okay.
Look at pictures.
Okay, so now, yeah, jitensha de ikimasu.
Okay.
So this is, okay, so うちから
This is like how you got
駅までどうやって行きますか？うちから駅まで自転車で行きます。So this is practicing the kara made stuff, which I felt like they should have explained a lot earlier because they kind of,
They didn't really
They-
explain it, because I did this activity and I'm like,
yeah, they didn't really explain it. Kara is from, made is to or until, depending on whether you're talking about place or time.
yeah.
And so you can do, you know, like ichiji kara sanji made,
That's what we
from
did
1
at
o'clock to
first.
3 o'clock, and you can also do like Tokyo kara Kyoto made, from Tokyo to Kyoto. So you can do place to place and time to time for both of those.
Because they used it time
And-
before, but in
Yeah.
place to place.
And then the means of transport de is, I sometimes like to translate that de as by means of. So you go somewhere by means of
What?
jitensha
Then-
or densha or kuruma or hikoki or fune.
or
And then you can also use de, when you understand the by means of definition for de, then you realize you can also use it for other things that might fall in the category of tools or utensils. So like hashi de tabemasu versus fork de tabemasu or spoon de tabemasu. You know, koppu de nomimasu versus bin de nomimasu. Bin is bottle. Things like pen de kakimasu versus enpitsu de kakimasu, writing with pen or writing with pencil. So it gets used for a lot of different things. So anything that you can think of as a tool or a utensil that allows you to do something, you can use it with de.
So you could be like, Enpitsu de kaite kudasai? Like,
Yes.
just write with pencil.
Exactly. Excellent example. Yeah. Enpitsu de kaite kudasai. Please write using a pencil as opposed to pen, like if it's a Scantron or something and you have to use number 2 pencils, right? Or hashi de tabete kudasai. Please eat using hashi, chopsticks. Or nihongo de hanashite kudasai. Please speak in Japanese as opposed to in English. So like if we're doing a Japanese only activity in class, nihongo de hanashite kudasai.
Okay.
Or even on the test, nihongo de kaite kudasai versus eigo de kaite kudasai. You know, so sometimes like we have those reading comprehension activities, and for your answers, I say eigo de kaite kudasai because I want you to translate in your head and write down in English what you understood from the paragraph. If you just write it in Japanese, you could just find the relevant piece and copy it without even knowing what you just wrote, right? That's why I make you do English answers usually for the reading comp questions, because it's too easy with the structure of Japanese to just work with the structure and say, well, I know this is what they're talking about. I have no idea what this word means, but I know this is what they're talking about, and just pipe that answer down. And there's a good chance you'll be right without knowing what you're reading.
Right.
You know, and that's not the point of a comprehension exercise. So, yeah,
Yeah, no.
yeah. I can't tell you how many times it's been something like, you know, I don't know. The sentence is something like, ice creamを食べました. And if the question were, 何を食べましたか? You could write down アイスクリーム without knowing what that was, right? Not that you
I
wouldn't
see
know
all
what.
time.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. So anyway.
Okay.
So does that explain the karamade and the de
Mhm.
as they're being used here? So, dozo. I forgot whose turn it
I think
was.
it was.
Okay.
Turn?
Dozo.
Yeah.
No, I think it's Ryan's.
Oh, Ryan's
She
turn.
did some more.
True.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay.
うちまで
No, you have to, the question. Yeah.
うちから
うちから学校までどうやって行きますか？どうやって行った？
Oh, and this is どうやって行きますか as in habitually. How do you normally go?
Oh.
Right? Because the plain 行きます form or どうやって行く, that plain form is, the simple present tense, that's like the habit one, right? Because most people commute the same way every day, right? So, うちから駅までor うちから学校までどうやって行く? How do you go to school from your house?
Okay.
And the picture, of course, is showing what? A bus.
うちが学校までバスで行きます行っています。
Or 行く in this case, because you're doing casual, right? So, どうやって行く? Bus で行く. That's what we're going for now, because you're supposed to be doing casual speech. But we are running out of time. Do you have to leave at 12:05 still?
No, I'll do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a little more time.
Okay, we can go for a few more exercise, a few more of this exercise then. Okay, so どうやって行く? Bus で行く.
うちから
Oh, no, let her ask.
Oh, true, true.
うちからバスで No.
Yeah,
バス
バスで
までどうやって行きますか?
はい. 歩いて
歩いて
行く.
行く。
歩いて行く. Yeah, so this is a different one than all the others because on foot isn't a noun plus de. That one idiom is aruku, the verb, changed to a te form so it can connect to the iku. So 歩いて行く.
歩いて行く。
はい、so うちからバス停まで歩いて行く.
はい、うちからバス停まで歩いて行く。
はい。
じゃあ、うちから会社までどうやって行く?
うちから会社まで車で行きます。
はい、車で行きます。
Also, it's always going to be now like 運転, like 運転.
Oh, you could say 車で運転します. That's possible. But they're just showing the car here. They're not necessarily saying who's driving. So 車で行きます is fine because you could be commuting with your next door neighbor who works for the same company.
True.
So you could be getting in your friend's car and going with him.
Okay.
はい。じゃあどうぞ。横浜。
横浜から東京までどうやって行きますか？どうやって行く？
電車で
行く。
行く。
はい、電車で行く。横浜から東京まで電車で行く. Yeah, that's going to be the normal way for most people because Yokohama and Tokyo are so close to one another. It doesn't make sense to bother with something like Shinkansen because it's too expensive. So you just, especially since Shinkansen only stops at the most major stations, but Tokyo and Yokohama practically connect. It's kind of like, I don't know, like the way some people live in New Jersey, but they commute into Manhattan. Tokyo and Yokohama are like that. A lot of people live in Yokohama but commute to Tokyo every day for work.
Is there a reason why there's a Ferris wheel in Yokohama?
Isn't there a
I
Ferris
think
wheel?
there actually is a Ferris wheel in
Yeah.
Yokohama,
But
so.
it's kind of like a bay, right? Do you walk
Yeah,
on
well,
it?
there's a, Yokohama actually means like next to the port, so it is a huge port city. It's a huge port city.
I've seen it in like dramas. They have like their
Yeah.
Ferris wheels. So
Yeah,
that's how
and so local train is the normal way for people to get between Yokohama and Tokyo, because wherever you live in Yokohama, you've got access, from any part of Yokohama, you've got access to a train that probably has a pretty direct route into Tokyo.
Can you drive too?
You can drive it too if you don't mind the traffic, but I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Yeah, it would probably double your commute time dealing with the traffic.
会社からデパートまでどうやって行きますか？
会社からデパートまで地下鉄で行く。
はい、そうですね。And there again, once you're in the city, chikatetsu is a very common way, although train is just as common. Depends on where you're going, what line is most convenient. Because a lot of the train and chikatetsu lines actually connect up with one another, like the eki for the densha and the eki for the chikatetsu might be right next to each other, or they might even share space with each other. You might just like go out one turnstile, walk a few yards, and go through a different turnstile to get into the next station. Or in some cases, it's like a block or two away, but it's not a big deal. So, you know.
名古屋から東京までどうやって行く？
新幹線で行きます。
はい、そうですね。名古屋から東京まで新幹線で行きます。Because that does take about 2 hours, right, even by high-speed train. Yeah, because those are two major cities that are not that close to one another.
日本からハワイまでどうやって行く？
飛行機でいつ？
はい、そうですね。
日本からインドネシア。
インドネシア。
インドネシア。日本からインドネシアまでどうやって行きますか？
日本からインドネシアまで船で行く。
はい。Because that's like a cruise. The way they're showing that, you know, Indonesia is one of those spots that could be a cruise ship destination for Japan because it's relatively close. So just like we might go on a cruise to the Bahamas or to Jamaica or some other place in the Caribbean, a lot of Japanese people will go on a cruise to some place in Southeast Asia.
So Hune would be pay for cruise?
Yeah, Hune works for a cruise. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, we can stop there, and we'll remember to bookmark it this time. And so the second half of that exercise, part B, is using the karamare and then jikan. Dono gurai kakarimasu ka? And it tells you how many minutes or hours or whatever time phrase. And then the other thing that you can do with dono gurai kakaru that they don't really talk about here is how much does it cost. You can use okane with kakaru also. So like dono gurai kakarimasu ka? 200 yen kakarimasu. How much does it cost? It costs about 200 yen. So we can do that too. We could make up prices for those different trips.
How do you say free? Murio?
Muryo desu. はい。
たくさんお金かかります。
はい。じゃあまたね。Yeah. So, yeah, some of those, like Shinkansen, can be just as expensive sometimes.
Is it? How expensive is it?
Sometimes it's as much as a local flight. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it can be a couple $100 on the Shinkansen.
Might
Yeah.
as well just fly it.
Yeah, well, it depends, because for some destinations, flying might be more expensive, or it might be less convenient. You know, for some of the parts of, I mean, if depending on where you live in Japan and where the airport is, the airports are not necessarily as convenient to get to and from as the train stations. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Depends on where you live and, you know, where your destination is. So for some people, getting to, like, the train station and getting to where they want to go and getting out the train station at the other end might be more